What up, guys? JP back at you once again to bring you guys episode number 26 in my 2017 Shelf by Shelf series. This is a series where I show you guys everything in my collection, and continuing along, we finally got off of this shelf, and now we're down into this shelf. You know, I actually really hate these shelves. These are what I had originally before I built those, and they are double deep. So, like, you could technically, take a DVD and put it on the outside and it'd be double deep. These are not really meant for DVD collectors, but they were cheap at Walmart. At one point they were only $10. So I bought, I think, 3 of them, and one of them broke, and I still have this one, and then the other one I actually use for a shelving unit for, like, my Blu-ray player and shit like that. So anyway, let's get into episode number 26. First up here we have Satan's Playground, and as always, guys, pardon the light. It's a little shadowy under this deep ass shelving unit. So Satan's Playground, this was a Dante Tomaselli film, I believe. Yeah, and I honestly didn't really care for this one too much. Starring Felissa Rose. It is a tale of the Jersey Devil. Super low budget. One day maybe I'll give it another shot, but for right now I really didn't care for it too much. After that, we have this old ass version of Saw. At one point there was like blood liquid in here, as you guys could see it moving around. The blood seems to have disappeared and the saw blade is just floating in water now. This is a weird addition. It's like the first version of Saw that I owned, so I think the case is actually even broken to where it doesn't shut properly, but yeah, Saw is pretty awesome. The first Saw, it's like one of my favorite films of that era. It's super good. I rated it a 10 out of 10 on the Saw show. After that, we have Saw 2, which was the sequel to Saw that I actually really liked when it came out. It was my favorite Saw for a while, and then watching it again, it definitely has its fair share of problems. I still very much enjoyed certain aspects of it. I think that some people kind of think that it's a lot worse than it actually is, but it definitely didn't hold up with my second viewing or third viewing or most recent viewing, whatever it was. Saw 2. After that, we have Scanners, the old MGM release. This has since made its Blu-ray debut with, I believe, Criterion. This is classic Cronenberg. I didn't absolutely love this film the first time I watched it, but I can honestly say that with every single Cronenberg film I've seen. I'm never usually the biggest fan on the first watch. Like, it took me like 3 watches to truly appreciate The Fly. Now it's my favorite film of 1986 and one of my favorite films of the 80s. Scanners I've only seen one single time, and it's kind of one of those movies that I just didn't see the huge deal with. I still rated it kind of high, like a 7.5 or an 8, but yeah, I'm sure that it'll get better on second viewing, much like The Dead Zone, which I didn't like at all, really, the first time I seen it, and then the second time it like blew me away. It was so weird. Cronenberg definitely has that with him. A lot of Hitchcock films do that for me as well, where I like The Shining. I really didn't appreciate until I've seen it a few times, but Scanners, pretty good. After that, we have Scar 3D, which is the I guess it actually is the 3D version, which I don't really remember a ton about. Is Daniel Harris in this one? No, Angela Bettis. I watched it. I didn't really care for it too much. I thought it was kind of weak and haven't returned to it since, so kind of just taking up space in the collection for now. After that, we have Scarecrow and the Sci-Fi Original Movie. Picked this up because it was $2.95 at Dollar General. Figure if we ever cover some killer Scarecrow flicks, might toss this one out there as something that we could possibly do. There's not a ton of killer Scarecrow flicks that are good, so I really don't expect this one to be, especially being a Sci-Fi Original film, but it's addicting to buy DVDs at Dollar General. After that, for some reason, I have the Scream box set in this section of my DVDs here. It's like the only box set that's in the regular standard DVD versions, it's part of the collection. But yeah, we have Scream, and Scream is a film series that I absolutely love. I picked this box set up for like $15 a few years ago and watched them a few times. Love Scream 1, my favorite horror film of 1996. as well as just one of my favorite films, maybe my favorite film of the 90s. Scream 2, I'm not the biggest fan of. Same thing goes with Scream 3. I think Scream 2 is like vastly overrated. I think people just love that film way too much. It is a solid movie. Like, I like all the Scream films, but definitely the first one is the best for sure. After that, we have Secret Window, and this is a Stephen King adaptation starring Johnny Depp. I actually really love this movie. It's probably one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations. It's definitely more of a thriller than a horror film, but I've always found it to be really good. And honestly, the first time I seen it, I didn't see the ending coming at all. Just kind of didn't expect it, I guess. And maybe at the time of watching this, I didn't really know that ending. I hadn't seen a ton of films use it. Now it's like done so often. But yeah, Secret Window, really solid stuff. I actually really like that film. After that, we have See No Evil starring Kane. This one was okay. I remember when it came out, everybody was like kind of hype on it. Not really the horror world, but like kind of just the mainstream. I remember people talking about it. It's not a terrible slasher, modern slasher, you know. It's not bad, not great. After that, we have The Serpent in the Rainbow. Awesome Wes Craven film. Probably one of my favorite Wes Craven films. I really like this movie. Ever since I just first saw it, there was just something about it that I absolutely loved. Like, I love the voodoo zombie setting, which not a lot of films use the voodoo zombie theme, but I think it's a really interesting and scary concept, and I just think this is a Wes Craven film that works all around. I know it has its haters. A lot of people don't like it, but it's definitely one of my favorites. After that, we have The Signal, and this one was pretty cool. This was, who directed this? David Bruckner. He was originally attached to remake Friday the 13th before it dropped out and, you know, became just another failed attempt at making a Friday the 13th film. But The Signal, pretty cool. I think it's like either like an Infected or like something like that. I think AJ Bowen's in it. It was pretty cool. I definitely really liked The Signal. After that, we have Shark Zone, which is an absolute awful shark film. This one just is not very good. It looks like every single other generic shark film, right? Like, this kind of cover just has plagued bad shark movies forever. And this is no different. It's like a 2 out of 10 or something like that, you know. The sharks growl, and it's just not a good movie. Speaking of more shark movies, we have Sharknado, which I've not seen a single Sharknado film. I believe there are 5 of them now. But I did grab this at Walmart for $5 when it was really cheap. So, you know, what the hell, Sharknado. I figure one day we'll actually cover the Sharknado films on the podcast, maybe after they stop freaking making them. Seems like they make them every year. They probably do make them every year, honestly. I don't even remember. It's probably, I think every year there's been a Sharknado since the first one. Speaking of Sharknado, we have Sharknado 2, the extended version. Yeah, people love these movies. I'm not the biggest fan of newer sci-fi original films. I think that sci-fi was really good back when it was SCIFY, or FI, but ever since they changed the logo, they also seem to change the quality of movies. Seems like now they don't really put care into them. Before, it used to be about making a movie on a low budget, but still trying to make it good. Now it's like they revel in their badness, which I really don't like. After that, we have Virus and Wes Craven's Shocker. Virus was okay at best, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, and about like a ship that gets a virus or something. I can't really remember. And Wes Craven's Shocker, not really the hugest fan of this film, honestly. I think it's one of Craven's weaker films. Yeah, granted, he's had a ton of weak films, but I would say probably out of all the ones that people actually like, I'd say it's his weakest. And yeah, I just didn't really care for it too much. After that, we have Shrooms, which I believe is an Irish film from Ireland. It was alright, you know, it had its moments. I've seen it a couple times. Cool concept. It's described as Blair Witch on acid, from a quote there from LucyVine.zoo. So, I don't know who LucyVine.zoo is, but yeah. It was cool. Could have been cooler. Interesting concept, but just kind of slightly above average. After that, we have Shutter Island, Martin Scorsese. At least I think so. Yeah, Martin Scorsese, Leonardo DiCaprio. This movie is awesome. I absolutely love this movie. It is a great thriller with a fantastic ending that could be interpreted multiple ways, which I absolutely love. I didn't see the twist in this one coming either. It was very good. Very, very. Every time I watch that film, I love it. After that, we have Silent Hill, and I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of the video games, and I'm really not a huge fan of the movie. It's okay. I think the first time that I watched it, I really liked it, and then I revisited it a few years ago, and I was just like, it wasn't really my thing. After that, we have Silent House. I think there's an American remake to this film too. This is IFC Midnight. I used to love IFC Midnight before Scream Factory grabbed a hold of them. It seemed like they just put out like so many cool flicks. Like, yeah, there were some duds here and there, but I really haven't watched anything that they've done recently. But I've heard good things about this film. I think this is the movie that's it's either shot in real time or it's shot using like no edits. I can't remember what the gimmick was behind this one, but I want to say that it's the one that was shot in real time, which I think is pretty cool. Pretty cool experimentation. After that, we have Silent Night, Deadly Night double feature, and it is time for Silent Night, Deadly Night, guys. It's that time. It's Christmas time at the time of me recording this video, and man, you know what? The first time I seen Silent Night, Deadly Night, yeah, I was like, oh, it's a pretty good slasher, you know, from the '80s. But watching it again, like I love Silent Night, Deadly Night. It's one of my favorite slashers. And then you got Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, which the first time I watched it, I was like, this is an atrocity. Yeah, that's what it is. And I was like, this thing should not be existing. But watching it again, I absolutely love it. I think it is so ridiculous. And yeah, it's annoying that if you watch Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 1 and then immediately go into Part 2, it's like you're watching Part 1 again almost, because they use so much footage from the original. But goddamn, I love the new footage with you know, the lead character's brother, Garbage Day. Like, it's just so bad it's good, and I really, really like it. After that, we have the Silent Night, Deadly Night 3-disc collection here with 3 films. Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 3, Better Watch Out, which was really bad. And it honestly is. I plan on rewatching all 5 of these this winter, so gonna kind of relive this. It's been, I think, since 2014 since I've seen these films, and Better Watch Out was awful. The Initiation wasn't very good, but kind of had some cool things going for it. Not a Christmas film at all, really. And The Toy Maker, I actually liked. Yeah, The Toy Maker wasn't bad. It reminded me of like a Full Moon film. After that, we have Silent Venom, another Dollar General pickup, $2.95. I'm a sucker for picking up things at Dollar General, as well as creature feature / nature run amok, killer snakes, right up my alley. Absolutely love that stuff. So even the bad ones I tend to enjoy a little bit. But yeah, Silent Venom, awesome stuff. Can't wait to see it. Actually, I can. I'm lying. I can wait. Silver Bullet, Stephen King's Silver Bullet. I've only seen it one time, but I very much liked it. Getting a Blu-ray release from Umbrella Entertainment. Picked this one up, I think, $5 in the dump bin one time, and was very happy to do so. You got Corey Haim in there. You got Gary Busey. Just an awesome Stephen King adaptation. Very much like that movie. And after that, we have Slave, which is... I actually watched this movie. It was not very good. It was actually not really a horror film. It was kind of like a action thriller type thing. It was not good. Like, it was so long too, I remember. Actually, it was only 81 minutes, but it felt very, very, very long. Wow, it's actually short. But yeah, I didn't really care for that one at all. And finally, for this part, guys, we have Sleep Tight. And this movie is a awesome IFC Midnight. This is... Oh, wait, this actually isn't IFC Midnight. It looks like it, though. It looks like it would be one. It's actually Dark Sky. And this movie was amazing. This was a film from the director of Wreck and Wreck 2. which is a Spanish filmmaker. I'm not going to say his name. Wame Balaguerro. I guess I am going to say his name. But yeah, this movie blew me away. Like, I couldn't believe how good it was. Kind of more along the thriller lines, but definitely a good movie. Definitely see it if you never have. And I'll see you guys next time in part number 27, where we continue along with this shelf.